So your boyfriend asks you to play fantasy football with him and a group of his friends, or your girlfriend. Let's be honest, some females actually play fantasy football more than guys do. But, so we'll say your significant other or your partner has finally asked you to play fantasy football with them and a group of their friends. And you've never played fantasy football up until today. And you say, okay, you finally give in and you say, okay, I will play with you guys. I kind of want to build something like a starter pack to give you guys the best opportunity to succeed. And this is going to be really for those people who've never played fantasy football. And I want you guys to be as prepared as possible going into the draft and throughout the season. So the first thing on my fantasy football starter pack, if you will, is to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I drop so much knowledge on fantasy football that is going to give you your best opportunity to succeed. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification. But seriously, the number one thing that you actually want when you're going into the fantasy football draft is a notebook. In my personal opinion, I found out that it's most helpful when you can write down your players. And then sometimes your commissioner or the guy that runs the whole entire thing will have something like a top 100 sheet or a top 300 sheet from NFL.com for, goes by every position. That's really important. If your commissioner doesn't have one of those, make sure you have one of those. So those are two things you definitely want to have at your disposal. You want to make sure you have a top 300 players in fantasy football sheet. You want to have that, and you want to have a notebook at your disposal. And that just kind of gives you a general idea of like who you're going to take, who's already off the board. These things are very vital and very important as the draft proceeds and go on. And then you want to have an idea of your league's rules, and that's going to be as important before you even draft at all. Some leagues are standard leagues where, a touchdown is a touchdown, 5-yard run is a 5-yard run. Like it depends on your league scoring. So that's really important. So definitely figure out your league rules and scoring. And if you guys need some more information about that, and you want me to go into more detail, let me know in the comment section below. I'll definitely make that video. So another thing that goes also hand in hand with knowing the rules is knowing your roster. Some leagues have different roster builds. Some run 2 quarterbacks. Some only run 1 quarterback. I know in my league, we run multiple flex positions. A flex is pretty much a wide receiver or tight end or a running back that can be played in that position. So definitely you got to figure those things out as well. You want to know all those little nuances because it's going to be really important on how you draft. Also, there's PPR leagues. That's another thing. Like I said, the whole scoring thing, I might have to make a separate video because I don't want to go into too much detail. But you definitely got to know your scoring format going into your draft because that's going to be just as important as knowing the rules themselves. So now that you have your cheat sheet and you have your roster set up, that's really going to set you on a course to be successful right out of the gate. So now what you need, I personally feel like you need some practice. Before you even go into your real draft and a serious draft, you need some practice. Try the ESPN Fantasy Draft app. I personally think it's the best thing out there. But you definitely want to go on ESPN, try the fantasy football mock draft, because with that's going to give you a lot of test runs, and that's going to be just as important as anything. I've done already, I think, 5 this year. So, I'm doing more and more test runs and trying different scenarios, where different players are going to go, and things like that. Make sure, no matter what anyone says to you, make sure that you don't take a kicker in the first round. No matter if somebody's trying to be gullible or be funny and they're like, oh, don't take a kicker, don't listen to them. You don't need a kicker. Just trust me on that. So now that you have your notebook, you have your roster set up, and you have your ESPN Fantasy Draft app or ESPN Fantasy Football mock draft, have you done some of those? Those are really important. So once you've done those 3 things, it's kind of set you up for draft day. Now we fast forward to draft day. You go in with your notebook, you go in with your cheat sheet, you go in with everything that you need and equipped and ready to go. Now the next thing that you need for the starter pack is to make sure you hit the like button on this video and definitely subscribe, because I'm telling you, I'm going to help you guys out. I'm going to set you up for success. So on draft day, that people won't think that you're just a scrub. They're going to wonder why you're drafting like this for a first-time player. But seriously, once again, I think once you guys get to draft day, you want to keep a key eye focus on what's going on at all times. I've seen people lose focus come draft day because it is a long process. So this is going to be very important. Stay focused. No matter what happens, stay focused on the draft. Stay focused on what players are coming on the board or going off the board and what players are still left on the board. These things are very key to what's going to help you be successful throughout the season, because there's going to be some players that might fall a little bit further. Also, make sure you do some news research before you actually draft. News research is very, very important. Injuries, suspensions, and things like that. That really takes a big part in the player's draft status and where they go as far as being in the first or second round, or all the way into the 10th or 11th round as just a nice steal or a stash player. But you definitely want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity to get the best player. So definitely stay focused at all times on draft day. That's extremely key. I've seen people get drunk during the draft and then they just be completely lost and when the season rolls around. These things are very important, trust me. Last but not least on this list of starter pack items or need items is to make sure you have fun. Honestly, I think that's the most important part too. This is definitely a fun process, and especially for a new person, it can be kind of boring and monotonous. But realistically, if you're actually into the draft and you enjoy football, you will enjoy doing this. It's a really fun process. It's an addictive process to me, honestly. I've done, like I said, 5 this year alone on the mock drafts. On an average, I try to do anywhere from 100 to almost 120 because I try different scenarios. I'm really addicted. I really am addicted to the fantasy football thing. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It just gives me another thing to root for. So definitely try to have as much fun as you possibly can come draft day, and just really stay focused. Honestly, those are 2 things. Have fun, but stay focused while you're still doing it. I can talk to everybody in the room and still understand who's still on the board and understand what player I want to take next. Be prepared for the next player that you want to take. So that's all I had for the fantasy football starter pack. We got our notebook. We're going to have our cheat sheet of players. We're going to have our roster set up. That's very, very crucial. We're going to need to know our scoring and our rules because that's very important as well. And then download the ESPN Fantasy Football app and just run some mock drafts. Just go through it. And if you guys need any help at all, definitely don't hesitate. Hit me up in the comment section below. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. Just hit me up. Let me know. Even if you wanted to call me during your draft and you're a first-time draftee and you want to call or message me during your draft, I'm all for it. I'll be right there in your corner ready to help you. So if you guys need any help, I'm ready to help. And I know there's other footballologists out there who are willing to help you too along this process. Like I said, it's really fun. Oh, and I forgot one other thing. Make sure that you have your buy-in fee. A lot of people never have their buy-in fee when they show up to the draft, and the commissioner is always mad about that. Make sure you have your buy-in fee. That's really important, especially if it's a paid league. Make sure you have your money ready in hand because it just makes the commissioner's job that much easier. But if you guys are not a footballologist yet, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel today, become a footballologist, and stay safe, football fans.